I like that. Coming up next, an incredible story about a lost cell phone and the pictures that were found on it, and how finding that phone, reunited with its owner, changed this woman's life. It's coming up on the Wild Wake Up Show on Wild 101.
Party station.
Wild 101.
So it's Monday morning all weekend long. You probably heard me tease that have a special guest on. This is very cool. This guy's name's John Peterson. He lives in San Diego. Works for Qualcomm. You know Qualcomm? It's a big, I'd say cell phone company, but it's more than that. They do technology and everything. So John's kind of a tech guy.
Okay.
Could probably, like MacGyver, take a gum wrapper and like an old transistor radio and build you his own cell phone. He's really bright. So he goes on vacation. And good morning, John. Let's welcome John to the show. How are you this morning?
Great. How are you guys?
I'm really good. John finds a cell phone on the beach. I'm going to go ahead and let you start from there, John. You're camping. Is that right?
Yeah, I just bought a trailer, and we took it to Silver Strand, which is that strip of land down south right next to the border. And I got up early, walked on the beach, found a giant pile of seashells that the high tide had brought in, and on top of the pile of seashells was this black, destroyed phone.
A black cell phone. So it's obviously the cell phone's been in the water, been rolling around the ocean for days.
Yeah, and I thought it was garbage. I brought it back and gave it to my son and said, here, look, I found some trash. Looks like a phone. Isn't that interesting? And then he's the one that said, hey, there's a memory card in it. I'm like, oh, really? Cool. Well, let's hook it up, see what we can get out of it.
So this is like one of those memory cards like you'd put in a camera or something like that?
Yeah. So like between 2005 and most recently, memory cards go in the phone to store the pictures. Nowadays, phones just upload them to the cloud, but you're going to see these cards less and less, so it's kind of a good timing that this happened.
Okay, so you get the phone and he finds the card. Now, you're kind of a cell phone guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I've been doing it since I was 15, actually, selling phones, now working at a chipset manufacturer. That's what we do. We make the chips that go in the phones, yeah.
So of all the people in the world, Adina, to find this phone, it's the guy who works for a company that makes chips for phones, and he's been doing this for years and years and years. All the coincidences are starting to happen. Isn't this amazing? So, okay, so you're sitting there, you're at the beach, got your trailer, wife and kids, I imagine, are running around, and you're with your friend looking at this chip.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yep. And then we find clues. Like, I thought, this is probably going to give us nothing, but there's tons of different people in there, lots of students, and one video. And I played the video.
Oh, wait, you got the chip to work?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, okay. So how did you do that? Was it all mangled or?
Yeah, well, I took it out with a knife. It was all wedged in there with sand, but these memory cards are like sealed in plastic. The only thing I had to do was take a knife and carve off a little corrosion off the pins, and then it fit just fine in a card reader, and then voila, just showed a window with all the pictures and files in it.
Of course, you guys had like a card reader down at the beach, right?
Well, I'll admit my friend Kevin is the one that had the nerd toys in his trailer.
Fair enough.
I didn't have the card reader myself, but he did. And I said, I begged him. He was asleep at the time because it was like real early. And I said, here, read this. We got to find out. Anyway, I found the video, and it was of a high school pep rally. And I didn't know what high school it was until I saw in the background Home of the Centurions. And I Googled that on my phone and found it was a high school just up the road.
Oh,
and then,
my God.
So we knew at least there was a connection to the high school, and all the pictures on the card were of different students, and a lot of students at pep rallies and football games of the same high school, had same high school colors. But that was all I had to go on at that point.
So what happens next?
So my friend Kevin and I are thinking, okay, great. We give up after about 30 minutes of looking at the pictures, like we can't figure out who it is. But I said, hey, I know somebody on the radio down here that I can call, and maybe they can broadcast out a message saying, hey, we found a cell phone memory card on the beach. Here's some pictures. Anybody who knows who they are can call in and see if we can identify the owner, because it is local. And so we did that so I found the phone on Sunday. On that next Monday morning, we broadcast that out, and I had uploaded the pictures on a public website for somebody to look at. And by 4 o'clock that evening, we had traced down the owner.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That is... So,
and the story, go ahead.
Yeah, who's the owner?
All right, so it turns out the owner was a woman who worked as a security guard at that high school. And so the reason there are all those pictures of those kids was because she was like their surrogate mother, right? Their mom on campus, for lack of a better term.
The pet mom.
And exactly, one of those. And so she was at and I wanted the story. This is really the motivation for why I didn't find the owner, but she had been at a Kids for Cancer organized party or some sort of event up on Coronado, about 5 miles up the coast. And she went to tie a shoe of a child and left her phone on the beach. And then I guess the way she left it there, and it got consumed by the ocean. Then it was just churning in the tide for 3 months until I found it, 5 miles down shore. That's the story.
So she must have freaked out. She must have loved getting those pictures.
Yeah, especially. Here's the kicker.
Okay.
So all the pictures on there, there are some of family, obviously. There's some grandparents and what have you, and I have no idea who they are. They're so diverse, right? Well, she tells us that one of the pictures is of her sister-in-law that had just died a week ago, and that was the last picture she ever had of her. It was on that card, and she had been praying to find the card or something. She thought somebody had picked it up off the beach and walked home with it. She didn't know it got taken into the ocean, let alone, sitting in the ocean for 3 months. But, yeah, she got her pictures back. All of them.
I mean, I don't know what people believe one way or the other in supernatural or whatever, but boy, there's a lot of coincidences that came together for her to be reunited with that last picture of that cancer victim.
Yeah, and I was about to throw the thing in the fire.
John, that's a great story. Well, good for you for not just going, oh, this thing's a piece of junk. You followed up, and then you followed up, and then you followed up. So that's really cool, and credit to you for doing that. And now she's reunited with that very special last picture she has. I love that story.
That's so incredible.
I know, isn't that crazy?
I love it.
Yeah, too good to be true.
Yeah, of all the people to find that phone. Had I found it...
that's the other weird thing, too.
Yeah, had I found that phone, I'd be like, who wants an old Nokia piece of crap?
And here's the other thing, Rick. I didn't even intend to go on the beach at 6 a.m. The whole reason I got out of the trailer and walked the beach before all the kids go and get all the shells and stuff is because my internet was down. I wanted to play on the internet with my iPad in the trailer. So, my Wi-Fi device, didn't have battery power and I couldn't connect. I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? So
go for a walk like normal people.
Yeah.
Well, John, that's a great story. I'll let you in on a little something, Adina. I know John from when I lived in San Diego. I'm acquainted with he and his wife. And so when I had seen this story through Facebook, I said, you've got to come on the air and tell the story. I didn't know every detail of it. And so I wanted him to share it on the air. John, thank you for going on this morning.
Yeah, take care, you guys.
All
Thanks.
Right. Tell your wife I said hi and take care. It's an amazing story, an incredible story. And I just can you believe that?
Wow.
1 in a million story. Wow. Well, listen, coming up next, Elon will be live in the mix.